I kind of enjoy the moments, you know, and
Mhm.
um and people, places, and things are like, to me, like temporary gratifications. It's like, I was depressed for a minute, and I used to drink a lot, and I got to the point where I recognized that in order for me to get peace, I have to start with myself, kind of like. So I'm kind of in the process of not separating myself, but experiencing the gap between people, places, and things, and it's like it's a strange paradox where I feel more happier and more whole, just absorbed and observing from afar. If you know if anybody that meditates knows what I mean, because I think those people, places, and things kind of take me up and down on that emotional roller coaster. Where one day I might like you and the next day I might not. You know what I mean? So I tend to not rely as much on people, places, and things for my happiness, on my peace. So that's what meditation kind of takes me. It gives me that gap where I can enjoy, the space between all that, and kind of, um, if I like it, I can go with it. If I don't, I can easily separate myself. You know what I mean? It's like that.
Definitely, definitely. I can definitely I definitely can see where you're coming from with not relying on others and the power of meditation. And interesting that you said that. Last week I got to talking so much that we forgot to do our um, mindfulness activity. And so
Mm-hmm.
today, I think that we're gonna walk you guys through a mindfulness. You can also use it as a meditation as well. And do we have another icebreaker question, Brittany, or is that good?
That's good.
Hello, Brittany.
Oh, sorry. No, it was just the one icebreaker, and then it was getting into the mindfulness activity. So that was the perfect segue. Thank you both.
All right, who's gonna take us away? Who's gonna the mindfulness activity? Is it Courtney or Brittany? Who's
I'm sorry. Good evening, everybody, and welcome back again. I'm glad to see everybody was able to make it to week 2. Um, so yes, I'm glad that we kind of touched base a little bit on mindfulness and on meditation, because I actually do have a little activity that I like to do with you guys. I'm going to share my screen. And actually, before I share my screen, just to give you all some general information on what mindfulness is, for those of you who don't know, mindfulness, again, is just the focus on the here and now, being fully present in the moment, in a non-judgmental space or manner. And although it does not work as quickly as other forms of therapy or treatment, it is proper. If used properly, it is better for the long term, and you also don't have to deal with the long term negative effects or long term symptoms or side effects as well. Um, at times we tend to think more than just focusing on the experience, and most of the time we think about things rather than processing them. So one of the main factors of mindfulness is just knowing how to manage our thoughts. And another good thing about mindfulness is that it will allow us to strengthen our abilities to get out of our own heads. So let me just go ahead and share my screen. Okay. Let me see. Okay. Yes. Okay. And if you guys could give me 1 second, where did it go? Okay, here we go. I'm just going to play this quick video, and this is just like a little 5-minute video for meditation anywhere, just to get everyone to relax a little bit more, to open up, unwind, and clear their mind of whatever they have going on or experiencing right now.
Hey there, and thanks for gifting yourself these next few minutes. It's important to remember that you're a priority, and allowing yourself even just a few short minutes of intentional reflection can really have a positive impact on the rest of your day. So let's use these next few minutes to come back to center and set an intention for the rest of your day. Move into a comfortable position, whether you're seated at your desk at work or laying on the couch at home, and gently close your eyes and shift all of your attention onto your breathing, taking slower, deeper breaths than you've taken all day so far. Taking a deep breath in through your nose and slowly letting it out through your mouth. And continuing to breathe that way, feeling your lungs expand out as you inhale and contract back in as you exhale. Tune into your body, noticing how it feels. Noticing if there's anything that it's trying to tell you. Notice any place of tension or tightness in your body. Give those areas permission to relax, sending love into those areas. Thank your body for taking such good care of you, and let it know that it's okay to rest and relax for these next few minutes. You may notice that your mind starts to wander off. That's okay. That's natural. Just notice it and bring your attention back to your body, using your breath as your anchor. Try to picture one thing that's happened today that's made you smile, or made you thankful or appreciative. And just let that feeling fill you up for a moment. Breathe that feeling in from the top of your head to the tips of your toes. And allow yourself to smile if that feels natural. Now focus on something that you can do today, whether it's for yourself or for someone else, that will allow you to continue feeling this way. It could be something as small as deciding to go to bed early tonight, so that you have time to finally read that book that's been on your bedside table. Or the joy of getting dinner with a close friend. What's one little thing you can plan for your day to bring that intentional joy to it? Now just focus on that for a few minutes. Sit in that feeling of joy and peace. Let's take a few more deep breaths together. A deep breath in, feeling your lungs expand out as you inhale, and everything contract back in as you exhale. Again, an even deeper breath than the one before it. Holding that breath for a beat, and exhaling everything out. Last time, your deepest breath yet. sending that breath through your entire body. And exhale it out. And in your own time, slowly bring your awareness back to where you are. And thank yourself for taking these few minutes to just be intentional and kind to yourself. And when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes and enjoy the rest of your day.
So how did everybody feel after doing that quick little exercise? Did everybody feel like they unwinded a little bit? They were able to, feel some sort of relief? I know I did. Good, good, good. Good, good, good. Okay.
Courtney, I just wanted to say thank you for that video. It was great. I didn't realize how stressful of a day I had. So kind of just being able to take those deep breaths in and out was really, really helpful. I also wanted to ask, just to piggyback off of Courtney, what emotions came through you guys while you were experiencing this meditation? Don't be shy.
I'll go. So I felt relaxed and I kind of felt at ease. Just listening, it just kind of like made me unwind. I didn't feel my body as tense anymore. I was just able to just like let go and release and let myself just kind of be free in the moment.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Karen, did I say it right?
It's Karen.
Karen, okay. Thank you. Does anybody else have any feelings or thoughts? Any of the co-leaders, how did you guys feel?
I felt some emotions inside of my body as I let myself relax. I started to feel it like in the pit of my stomach because I consciously wanted to know what I was feeling. And when I started to just quiet myself down, I could really tell that it was decreasing as I initially took breaths in, and as I took the breath out, I could feel it actually releasing from my body. And it's something I have recently started practicing, so it was very helpful. So I'm thankful for it too.
Yeah, I agree with what Miss Yvonne said. I definitely felt a release, like just physically in terms of like emotional stress that I was going through today. And then it was a hectic day at work. So I was glad that I was able to let all of that go in the moment. Yeah, I enjoyed it. And I actually, that's something that I don't do often, but after just doing it, I definitely want to start incorporating that more into my own little self-care plan sort of thing. So yeah, I'm glad that I was able to share that with everyone this evening.
Yeah, I think it was also good to, I guess, focus more on the good things and things that made me feel happy and good, as opposed to everything that could have gone wrong or that did go wrong today or this week. So that was definitely a good meditation to kind of give us space to enjoy the good memories and the good feelings. Kind of like, the activity that Brittany brought up, like, okay, something, just focusing on the thing that made us feel good this week, as opposed to kind of balance out what could have gone wrong or what went wrong.
And also, I think like the mindfulness, the meditation can help a little bit for slowing down our life a little bit. Like the pacing is so fast and so many things are going on at the same time right now. So being able to refresh our mind and slow down to feel our body, take care of ourselves is very important. And that's, I think, really helpful for the meditations.
Would anybody else like to share?
Kata, hi, how are you doing? How was that mindfulness experience? How was the mindfulness experience for you?
Familiar, because I teach, and so we're restorative practices. We do a lot of social emotional learning. So every day is a theme. So on Mondays is Mindful Monday. So what I made a note is I saw which video it was. I made myself a note. So I will steal that video and play it. The kids never do it. They think it's hokey and goofy, but we do. I've done seated Tai Chi with them. I've done mindful meditations with them. Of course, I'm the only one who winds up doing it, but it's okay. And so just every day has a different theme. Like on Fridays, it's Affirmation Friday. So that's what we'll do tomorrow. So it feels familiar in that sense to me. And when I'm calm, every life is gravy train, right? It's all easy when I'm calm. It's when you're not calm. That's the real challenge.
I saw a couple people nodding. Thank you. A couple of people can relate to what she said about when you're calm is easy. When you're not calm, it's challenging. And so I want you guys to get something out of this session today. All right? We're going to talk about that non-calm. I'm sorry, I mispronounced it. It was Macadia. Hopefully. Tell me about the non-calm moments.
Well, if you want to know about my non-calm, I feel like I might look like I have it all together when I'm on here. Maybe Thursdays is a good day. I don't know. But last Friday was a non-calm moment. Teaching is stressful anyway, any year. But during this pandemic season, it's like stress on steroids. And so definitely have ridden an emotional roller coaster. So I'm quite sure a lot of people get evaluated on their jobs and go through the whole stress of performance management and that whole thing. But imagine your performance management not tied to necessarily what you do directly, but to 124 adolescents and other teachers. It might be kids or whatever. So that definitely changes the dynamic. Anyway, last Friday, part of the evaluation that we get for the year is based on my teaching, is based on a goal that I set for the kids and myself, saying that I was going to reach a certain target. And our new assistant principal sent it back to me with a 50, which is failing, and I darn near passed out. So I was on the struggle bus all Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Dreaded going to work on Monday. I don't think the clouds began to clear away until Tuesday when I talked to a colleague, and it turns out what the AP did and told me was wrong. But during that season, I was very depressed. I felt like I was drowning in a bucket, not that pretty body of water behind Franklin, a bucket, something that I could have stood up and walked out of, but I was drowning in it. So that was one of my moments that I can share with you.
So, what I heard, Thursdays are pretty good. You had a good week last week. You attended the session. We're on the mountain. We leave group. That's when the trials and tribulations of life start. And you go into job that I'm sure you love teaching the kids, but maybe you can do away with the politics. Didn't mean to put words in your mouth, but a lot of times that's in our job and in our situations, we're faced with that. You go in, you all are then have an evaluation. You spend some time doing your evaluation. You give it to the assistant principal, and essentially they give you an F, a 50%. And that kind of just deflated your bubble, deflated your balloon. What was so deflating about that F?
Well, I'm very ambitious. And I guess I'm just, maybe I've always been that way. I don't like failure. I don't like to fail. And I guess maybe, and I'm being rational now because in that moment, I don't know if I would have processed it out, but I'm over that trial. So those troubled waters are gone. The waters are calm right now. So I can be rational saying maybe if it was just and warranted, I could have handled it better. But when you feel it's unjust, because a lot of things in the pandemic were not in our control, were not in the kids' control. And I feel like my district is very good at giving the kids grace, but not the practitioners, which is pretty effed up. Now my anger is rising. Last week it was depression. Now you're a little bit of ire there now. And I'm glad though, as I navigated, I shared my concerns with somebody, because had I never shared my concerns, I would just have an F. And it turns out the way that I approached the task and the way that I did it was 100% correct. So you're right. It was all politics because he's a new AP and he would have never said to me that he was wrong and that I was right. But had I done what he wanted me to do, I would definitely have an F. But it turns out, I don't know what he's going to grade it now, but it turns out when I finished, based on what my friend told me, I'm in pretty good standing. So maybe my ego doesn't like failure, doesn't handle it well. I know I'm that kind of personality. I am that student, that learner. Sometimes my kids tease me. They say, you must have drove your teachers crazy. You probably had your hand up first all the time, ready to give an answer. Maybe that's why I'm in the classroom now. So that was hard to do. My ego didn't like it, and it did deflate my balloon. Um, and I couldn't process it out. And when I was in it, I can a little bit better now.
So the reason why I took my time with that one is it's a real life situation, right? We have something prepared, but I like real life situations, right? We've all been there. Now I'm going to have somebody else share as well. Essentially what I'm hearing is the teacher gave you an F, so now I internalize that I am a failure based on somebody else's opinion of me. In my mind, I'm a failure because the teacher gave me an F, but maybe it was, instead of giving myself grace, taking time to say, let me go find out what's behind this F. Maybe I had a misunderstanding. You automatically assume the negative. Right? You internalize that F. And now, because I've internalized this F because I internalized this failure, now my mind, because in my mind, it's going to take me back to a previous memory of somebody saying, I'm a failure. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. I don't deserve to be good. All right? And we're going to focus on that today. You just set the tone for us. We had a whole new agenda. We had a whole agenda today. Somebody else share, please. Where others' opinions internalized your own feelings and then spiraled either your depression or your anxiety. Who else wants to share?
Well, if I can share, well, my name's Quest. So my issue would have to be that I feel like I'm not ever going to be good enough, or that I can't do anything right, or that someone is always going to feel like I can always, okay, you did this, but you could have done this as well to, to do it better. And that's what I feel like I get a lot of, far as from like home or in my relationships or anywhere. I feel like I get a lot of, oh, you did this, that's good, but you could have done this to, to make the situation better, if that makes sense in a way.
Guys, one of my co-leaders, summarize what she just said.
Hello and welcome. From what I got from it was that it sounds like no matter how hard she tries, no matter how good of a job she feels and she believes that she has done, it sounds like someone else is always finding a flaw in what she does, or it's never up to their expectations or up to their standards. Does that sound about right?
Exactly. Exactly. Like, it's now to the point where now I don't even know like my triggers for my anxiety anymore, or I don't even know my triggers for my depression anymore, because of how much stress I'm being put under, because I just feel like I'm not doing enough.
So what I'm hearing is that you, or would it be fair to say that these feelings, this anxiety, this depression is kind of like a whirlwind, almost pretty consistent because of these feelings, or of these expectations that you're feeling?
Yeah, it's pretty much of a constant spiral, and it's always like it's a constant downward spiral for me every day. It's never a day where I can wake up and I'm like, okay, I feel good today. Like you know how some people have their good days when they have depression, but it's like I no longer have those days. I no longer have those good days anymore, because I'm always feeling like I'm not going to be able to please anybody, or what I'm doing is not enough for this person. Like, I mean, like, just like literally, like, not a couple minutes ago, like, boyfriend, who's not my boyfriend now, told me he didn't want to be with me because of my mental health. And it was kind of like, I would stick out through everything with you, but you can't do that for me. So now it's like, okay, so it's like, so what is it that I'm doing wrong to these people? Or what is it that I'm doing wrong to where everybody feels as though I'm not good enough?
So I'm hearing that it's just that you're placing these expectations that you're not good enough because of people's responses to you. But what I'm wondering is, what could you do, or what maybe, what support could maybe be provided to make you feel good for you? Because you are an amazing person that provides so much value on your own. Just by being you.
That's the thing. Like, that's the thing, I don't know. And the thing is, like, I've asked, like, you know, like, I'm like me, and I don't have a lot of friends anymore because I felt betrayed. I got betrayed by them, so I don't have a lot of friends. Me and my family really aren't close because we have our differences. So I'm kind of like alone out here in a way. And that's kind of how it feels sometimes, because I don't have anybody to talk to, really. So, I don't know.
And I'm so sorry to hear that you're feeling so alone. But I want to thank you for coming here tonight, and welcome you to the support that you have here in us, in this group. And welcome this as a space to explore and express yourself. And if you do feel the desire to chat with any of us one-on-one, you can feel free to do that. Or if you feel whatever support you feel you need right now.
I just feel like I just been in this constant just downward spiral, and I just don't know how to get out. I feel like I'm just in this hole and I'm just digging deeper and deeper and deeper. And I'm trying to get out, but I just keep digging. And I just feel like I'll never get out.
Can you give us your number?
Yeah.
Because I'd be glad to call you.
I just really need, I just need a lot of support right now. I just need, I need support. I need help. I feel alone when I'm around a group of people. Like, so it's like, I need the support that I need. And it's like the people that are supposed to give it to me won't, and they don't want to, or they feel like my issues are too much for them. And they're like, oh, whatever, I'm worried about myself. And then I get to the point where I don't talk about my issues because I don't want to bother somebody else about my issues, because I know that people have other things going on. So I get to the point where I just don't talk about it. And then it gets to the point where I just blow up, and then everybody's like, oh my God, you're crazy. What's wrong with you? And I'm like, what do you mean I'm crazy? I'm just reacting. But to them, I look crazy.
Mm-hmm. Well, the good news is you're not crazy. And your life is valuable. And we're going to help you. We're going to get you the help that you need. I'm going to have, let's see, one of my co-leaders that I made co-host, can you all do a breakout room with her? Can somebody do a breakout room, an individual breakout room with her, please? Yvonne, you want to do it? Okay. All right. You have the breakout room. You know how to. Let me go to my.
No, I don't have it. Somebody needs to move me to it.
Let's see here. Let me do a breakout room. Okay. All right. So while we set up that breakout room, I want to stick to that. I want to stick to that topic of. Sorry, my computer kind of went down on me. But I want to stick. Sorry. All right. All right. Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Is there an echo?
Not now. Yeah.
There was.
Sorry about that. All right. When we feel down and when we feel that there's no hope, we feel down and we feel that there's no hope and there's nothing that we can do. As she said, it's a spiral. Today, we're going to be talking about negative thoughts, and we're going to revisit the thoughts of ants, automatic negative thoughts. All right, sorry, let me do a breakout room real quick. Sorry about that. Let me just do a quick breakout room. Let me do one with Yvonne, one with Miss Royalty. Okay. All right, so I did a breakout room with them. And so they can join, so they can have their thing. When we feel that our thoughts or there's no hope, we're down that spiral of negativity, we can't get ourselves out of it, things aren't going the way that we wanted to, things aren't going the way we wanted it to go. Who else can share? Who else can share about an experience that they had?
Yeah, my name is Bo again. Yeah, I'm a Iraqi veteran soldier, or Iraqi war veteran, and I can relate to a lot to what she was saying in regards to, you know, being alone. Because when I first came back from Iraq, my first tour in 2006, you know, that was it was fun. But when I got back to society, I kind of felt out of place. You know, I felt I still am a misfit, but I toyed around with it until after my second tour in 2010 when I started drinking heavily, and I realized I was depressed. You know, so one of the things that I had to do, the first thing I had to do was I had to talk about it. You know, on a daily basis, I had to find someone I could trust, and then I could, which was hard in the beginning, but I had to talk about it, and then I had to own it. You know, and you know, once I found that I was angry, that I was greedy, I was lustful, and all those things, all those anxious, all those things that were causing me to be depressed. I had to own that. You know, so once I own it, then I can start working on it. You know, so as I started working on it, going to therapy, you know, doing AA meetings and talking to people, basically, and consuming, taking suggestions, then I started working on myself. You know, I started doing meditation and doing that hard, arduous work, painful work in the beginning to kind of get me across those waters. You know, so first thing, you know, for me was just owning. We all have our good stuff, right? And we like to talk about all the good stuff, but we also have our negative too. It's like a battery. We have a positive and a negative side to us that, you know, for me, working on those negative, you know, tendencies that were causing me to be depressed, you know, doing the work that I had to do because, you know, I had a doctor tell me, you know, if somebody come in with a broken leg, you know, I can fix that because I know what it is. But if I'm depressed and I don't come in and I don't talk, I can't help you. So first thing I had to do was talk, then own it, and then start doing the work on, you know, on my anger, my anxiety and stuff like that. And that's hard work, you know. And I don't know if it's a cure, but I do know that it's something that I had to own and I had to work on myself, you know. That's why in the beginning, the message about, you know, not putting too much onus on others, people, places, and things, and not having too high of expectations of others was one of the things I had to work on. You know, I had high expectations when I came back of people, you know, and people wouldn't meet my expectations, and I kind of, you know, fell into the deep water. So first I had to own that, you know. So but working on depression with me is in mental and emotional imbalances is first. I had to own it. I had to own it. And then once I own it, that's the only way I can start working on it. But if I'm in denial, I'll be going in a circle, which I tried for years.
Who wants to summarize that? One of my co-hosts.
Thank you, Mr. Bo, for sharing that. And correct me if I'm wrong. It sounds like, again, the things that you've experienced throughout those years, once you came to the realization that these things were going on, you finally decided to just take accountability for your own actions first and identify exactly what it was that you knew was going on that was wrong, and then you address those.
Yes, and the funny thing about that, it's weird and it's wonderful because, once I started addressing it, like fear is one of the things that I had to work on also, and the fear is something that I had to work on internally, and once I started working on it internally, the outside fear disappears. So it's like that with everything, once like love, we always talk about that word love, once I love and respect my own self, right, it comes naturally from the outside. So it's kind of like that. That's why I say owning it is important, because that when I own it, then I can start working on it, and then the outside stuff will start clearing up. So it's like that, and I can't put my finger on it, but I know that, once I'm in my daily travels and a person, place, or thing, if I fear that, I have to work on that. It's not the outside. It's not the outside thing. It's my fear that's bothering me, not the person or place or thing that's I think is being feared. And once I own that, then I can correct it. It disappears. So it's like that. But if I don't own it, I'll be constantly in that circle of fear based on outside stuff. So owning it is important, and I've had a lot of doctors, tell me, I need to take that, like the word you just said, take accountability. That's very, very important. The doctor gave me four principles that now I just keep on my board, and that's self-awareness, self-understanding, self-love, and self-respect. You know what I mean? If I do them four things, they'll naturally come from the outside. You know what I mean? So it's like that. So that's where my progression is now. Any negative feeling that I have on a daily basis, if it's anger, frustration, anxiety, I got to own that. You know what I mean? It's not the person on the outside. And then once I own it, it clears up. And I start feeling better. My feet is on the ground now. You know what I mean? It's like that. So owning it is important.
Thank you so much, Bo. I definitely think that owning, as you said, owning for you, owning that fear and sitting with it, and then knowing how to take accountability for that. Mm-hmm. Let's stay there for a little bit. Oftentimes with depression, what happens is our mind starts playing tricks on us. We start overemphasizing the negative things in our lives. We start want to blame others. And they're common what I call ants, automatic negative thoughts. We talked about this last week. I'm going to briefly go over that this week. And we're about to have a breakout room where I want you all to then, in a smaller group setting, share. Because I know not a lot of you all are comfortable sharing right now, but we're going to have breakout rooms where I want you all to share your experiences with some automatic negative thoughts. One of the automatic negative thoughts that I heard Bo said was, it was the thought of blaming others, not taking accountability for your own actions, but you want to blame others. Right? And this is it's what we call a very, very poisonous. It's a very, very, very poisonous automatic negative thoughts. Typically, you hear things like, it wasn't my fault. That wouldn't have happened if you had, how was I supposed to know? It's your fault, mom. It's your fault, dad. It's your fault, friend, that. Typically, when we have these blaming, when we want to blame others and not hold accountability, it actually starts very, very early in our lives. Right? If you have children, let's say if you have children like myself and you have multiple, or you see them interact, or you hear with them in school, oftentimes if something spills, they'll blame each other. Oh, mommy, my sister did it. Sister will say, oh, this person did it. Whenever you blame someone else for the problems in your life, you become powerless to change those problems. Many times we play the blame game. Instead of us taking personal responsibility for changing the problems that we have. And so now what I want us to do is we're going to break out into smaller rooms. And I want you all to talk about your experiences with this automatic negative thought, with your experience of not holding accountability, with your experience of blaming others for the problems in your lives. And one way that you can stop blaming others for the problems in your lives is, well, I'll leave it up to the group. Before we go in there, what are some ways that people can take accountability for their lives? So, Bo, you said some things. Can you say it again?
Self-awareness. Once I'm aware, then I have some sort of understanding. Once I have that understanding, I can love myself and respect myself. So just being aware. If I know I'm an angry person, and I know that once I get angry, everything explodes around me. I cause that tornado. Then I used to tend to blame others for that tornado, but I was the one starting it. Like sort of like that. So just taking ownership and being aware, basically.
Okay, excellent. Let me jump into this one breakout. Before we break it out, let me jump into the one room that they're in and let them know that I have to cancel that room in order to break it out, but I want them to continue separately. So I'm gonna bring it back to one.
Franklin, Frank, before you do that, and I hope you don't mind me sharing this with you, you should be able to add a room without canceling that one. If you're the host and you look at the bottom of your screen, you should be able to add a room.
All right, let's see. Let's see. It's giving me problems. Any of the co-hosts, are you all able to create new, can y'all add a new breakout room? Any of the co-hosts? I should be able to add. The problem is not letting.
Now, just another way I do it, I don't use the automatic assignment. So when I go to do my breakout rooms, one option is automatic, the other is manual. I always choose manual. I put a 0 in the box for number because it gives me greater control. And I am a control freak, albeit, but You put a 0 there. And then what does it gives you the ability to create rooms as you need them, and you can add them whenever you want during your session. That's the way I normally handle it.
I messed up when I first created it. Bear with me. So let me fix that, and I'm gonna hand it to one of the other co-hosts, and they're gonna, Brittany, you give us some more. Why don't you give us some more interventions from last week? And then I'll be right there, and then we'll go into our breakout rooms. We talk about this blaming others for our situation. I'll be right back. Thank you all.
So, going back to last week we discussed the person-centered, or started with the person-centered theory, which was the idea that depression or anxiety can occur because whether the environment or the individual's environment doesn't match the individual's ideal reality. So say, and that could be for any reason, whether it's family purposes, it could be simply location, it could be any reason, whatever the life doesn't match the individual's ideal goals. So ways to kind of help when there's this incongruence or this gap. There are a few ways to kind of do that. One way could be to remind yourself that your feelings are valid. It is very important to always remember that your feelings are valid, especially in society when you have a lot of people telling you that your feelings really aren't valid. Maybe people are telling you that you don't really have a reason to be sad. Your feelings are real. No matter why you're feeling them, you deserve to feel whatever you're feeling. And you deserve to give yourself grace. And based off of those feelings, it's important to kind of treat yourself in the way that you need. So once you acknowledge that these feelings are valid, it can be helpful to then reframe what's going on. So that can be through an affirmation. It can be through doing like a meditation like Courtney showed us earlier. Both are great ways of kind of reframing what's going on. So accepting the emotion, as Bo mentioned, validating yourself, and then moving forward, again, as Bo mentioned. So Bo gave us quite a few great kind of tidbits. He's a little ahead of me today. And then, so another tidbit that can help in this situation is to give yourself permission to explore what you need. Everybody's different. Everybody needs different things when they're feeling depressed or anxious. Some people need to be creative. Some people need to rest and sleep. Some people need to be physically active and go and run it out, or go hit a punching bag a few times. Some people need to go play a sport, go be competitive. Some people need to journal it out. Whatever your thing is, and that, that's something that you may need to take the time to explore, or that's something that you may already know. Whatever kind of gives meaning to your life and brings you joy. So I don't know if the breakout rooms are ready to go, or if I can open that up to the group. So where are we, Frank?
Yeah, we're ready to go. We can open it up. We can open up to the group. And then once we do that, if somebody wants to say something, non-co-leader, and then we'll go into the breakout room.
Right, so I just want to open it up to the group to, what do you what do you do that, or what do you do that kind of brings you joy, brings meaning, or helps you in these moments that you're feeling depressed or anxious and gives you that grace? Or is that something maybe that you need to take the time to explore?
I know for me, it's something that I definitely need to take time to explore and then am working on finding out what that is going to be or going to be for me. Ever since I was in my outpatient program, like mindfulness was a huge part of it. And I've started to incorporate that daily. And I found that that's, helped a lot in like taking accountability for my feelings.
Yeah, I would say that that's a for me that was a major part. A lot of it is you know getting out of my comfort zone. When I was depressed real deep, I was kind of afraid to do new things, like you just said. So just stop the word fear again. Not being afraid to explore, to get out of my comfort zones and go into the unknown. That was a big freedom for me, or is a big freedom to me for me, because now I'm doing a lot of things that 5-10 years ago I never thought I would to say or do, like talking to you guys, just talking, finding someone I can trust, and most of the most complex things require the most simplest solutions, and talking to someone I can trust, find someone I can trust, which is hard, in itself. But finding that person and talking and doing new things, like a box now, new stuff that I didn't do, that now brings me gives me a new joy. So doing new things instead of being in that old familiar rut, that was part of the depression, because doing the same thing over and over and over and over for many years gets depressing, you know. So doing new things kind of add like spice to you, give you spice and give you a little extra pep in wanting to explore. Exploration is a big part of mitigating depression. You know what I mean? So yes, exploring new things is very positive.
Yeah, thank you both for sharing. And also thank you, Misha. I really agree. Like trying new things, explore, like never stop exploration is something be really helpful. I remember like a lot of times, like feeling depression when we are in a depression, we just feel like we put a lot of assumptions in ourselves. Like it's not going to be work, or it's like this cannot work, this cannot happen, and I'm not able to have friends to talk to, or this thing, like the new activity will not bring me so much joy and it's not worth to try. And a lot of times, like those assumptions and those negative, like the ends, like Frank introduced to us like last session, actually set us like in a frame or like in a cage that we cannot get out. And actually, I feel like being able to try something new and even like a small progress, like each time we're feeling a little bit better or something new, like I have never tried before, and actually gain something like the takeaway, and I can like all the small steps I'm making accumulate into something big. So I think like this is the power of depression will be just like, I think like all of those small steps that break the hard, like the core of the depression, and empower us to become more like to be more positive and to be able to like feel the joy and pleasure from our life. And that's why I really appreciate like also Misha being able to share like your experience about doing mindfulness activity, because I do feel that, and because I have similar experience too. Like I used to feel really anxious about things, and I just tried mindfulness activity. It's really helping, and it takes practice too. Like the first time not working, the second time not working, but if it continues to try and keep on this like as a routine or like a habit, and becomes like use it all the time when you are feeling depressed or feeling anxious, do something, and gradually I can feel the power of changes. And actually like when once you can feel that change actually taken place, it feels so good, and you will continue to try it. And I think this is the power of like making changes too, like when you're able to feel the changes, and this is the moment that you can know like I'm making some difference now. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Siao. All right, so the breakout rooms are ready. Again, in the breakout rooms, we'll keep it simple. You can talk about your, I was going to talk about ants, but talk about your experiences with the depression. Talk about your experiences with that negative spiral of going down into that deep, dark hole. And we have, and in the breakout rooms, we do have I believe at least one of our co-leaders, and they will help you all. They'll help guide the conversation, and they'll help you all. And I'll be jumping in and out of it to see how it's going. So without further ado, let me open up the breakout room, and believe you all have been invited to join your room. All right, and you can join the room now. Thank you.
Brittany, you're adorable.
Guthrie, you can lead the processing of the breakout rooms.
Okay. Well, we were actually in the middle of Kay speaking before the room closed, and Brittany was asking her a question. But Kay, if you wanted to continue the conversation with either I or Brittany, we can chat privately. But what did everyone think of their breakout room? How was everybody's experience?
I like the experience. I just like listening to other people share. Because sometimes I might not be in the most sharing mood, but because I'm listening or hearing, something might personally affect me, or someone is saying something that is encouraging, or just just in a sense, you're not feeling like you're not by yourself, but it's just good that you are around people that are trying their best, or at times struggling with depression or anxiety or experiences that they're having. So it's just more helpful in a group. You're more powerful in a group, and people are sharing, or people are saying encouraging things, or providing their own experiences, or how they're overcoming something. You just never know. So I enjoy the break room, or when we're all out of the room. So far so good.
Yeah, I can definitely agree that being in a group setting can be a little bit more comfortable and opening. Was it easier for you to open up within the break room, or out in the main meeting room?
Probably the break room, because when we did the session last week, I didn't say anything. I just listened. So we went into the break room, and maybe because I heard other things before we went to the break room, but I felt more comfortable. So now I'm fine. It doesn't matter if we go in the break room or we're all out together.
Well, thank you for sharing. I'm glad that you were able to open up with us. So thank you, Imani.
Sure.
Anyone else would like to share how they felt about their break room experience?
What were some of the key takeaways? Any things that you gained? Any jewels or gems that were dropped in the break room that you're like, ooh, I like that? Okay. All right. So we got a very talkative group today. All right. Let's see here. We're gonna come to an end. And as always, if anybody wants to stay after we officially close, I'm gonna be here. I believe last week I promised to talk about attachment. And so if anybody else wants to hear about it, or if there's any other topics that you want to discuss, feel free. It's going to be an open session where you can talk about anything. I would say this, I was giving someone some tips on how to find their passion in one of their break rooms. Essentially, what happens is that oftentimes in life, we are going through life just going through the motions. You know, we're working because we have to work. We have to pay the bills, the mortgage, the car note, or we're not but we are unhappy. Yes, I will be sending out the recording, but I don't think the break rooms are recorded, unfortunately. But yeah, I will be sending out the recording of the after session. And so a quick way I suggested to find your passion in life is to take a sheet of paper and on the left-hand side, write down things that I'm good at. And on the right-hand side of it, write down things that I like to do. And that intersection, meaning the things that you're good at, and also that's in the list of the things that you like to do, that intersection is a good place to start to explore your passion. And so next week, I want to thank you all. Again, we will stay for a little extra session here, but I want to thank you all for joining this week. It's always a pleasure. We thank you. We're the LarteyWellness Group, and just want to thank you all for opening up. Thank you all for sharing. And next week we'll be diving deeper into the depression and things that you can do. All right. Any final thoughts before we end this official session?
I just want to thank you for doing this. This is really good. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I want to say the same thing. I really appreciate the group therapy. It's really helping. Feels like this is just like another family. So it's just nice to meet everyone. And, I just pray that everybody have a good week and trying to manage their, their thoughts and their healing. So we'll talk next week.
All right. Thank you all. Whoever wants to stay can stay.
Thank you all. Have a great weekend.
Great weekend. Thank you.
Bye. I'm gonna stay a little while longer.
All right. It might just be us. Anyone who stayed, anyone have any topics for us? Or anything that you wanted to talk about?
Frank, does that include us too? Things that we could share?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, okay. Just wanted to make sure.
Do you want me to stop the recording now, or?
It's totally up to you.
Go ahead. Or you can put it in there. We'll keep it on. Go ahead.
Okay. So yeah, the breakout session, I actually enjoy doing that with the clients. Bo was in our breakout session along with Deasia and Alia. And one point that we actually got to discuss, which I honestly feel was a factor, was we discussed some cultural differences in terms of African Americans typically growing up with the stigma that they shouldn't come to counseling, or that it's not okay to really discuss our feelings and so forth and so on. So when Bo mentioned that, he and I actually kind of got that conversation started a little bit, and I enjoyed it. I really did enjoy speaking about that, just being able to identify that. And he also shared that how that took a toll on him as well, in terms of him again taking accountability and identifying certain things that he was going through. Again, that fear that he said he had, that was a part of it as well, his cultural background. So I was glad that he shared that, and I was glad that we were able to discuss it briefly in the group.
Okay, that's good. Good. All right, let me stop the recording.